Hello guys, if you like my awesome gaming videos, my programming and web development courses, my editing courses and editing videos, and my tech talks and tech guidance, then you can consider subscribing to my channel and click on this bell icon to stay connected with me all the time. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So this is a very fresh and brand new video. And as you know, I'm continuing with my Laravel series. I created every single thing, like I discuss about MVC pattern, image files upload, Laravel CRUD application, model relationship, advanced query, all of the thing, pagination, search functionality, PDF generation. And now into today's video, I'm going to work with the REST API using Lumen. As you know that Lumen is a service to create web servers and web APIs. Okay, actually the REST API that we create in Laravel. Okay, so using the PHP. So this is the microservice framework, which is very lightweight, very useful for creating your full-fledged API. So before going to that, we're going to go to our documentation. Okay, Lumen documentation. Okay, as you can see. So here, as you can see, you need to have a PHP version of 7.3 to work with this, with the latest version. And what you need to do, just write this command, composer create project dash preferred disk Laravel Lumen, okay, and your app name or your API name, okay. It will just create your application very easily. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna learn about routing, how you route using different kind of API and gives you the information that you need. You have middleware. You will also learn about how to work with our controllers and functions. You will learn about requests and responses. So all the things that I'm going to cover is just a part of it. This is just a part one, where I'm going to show you the basic of creating and REST API, a complete entire REST API. I think you guys will like it a lot because one video is not enough. So I'll make it at least 2 or 3 videos to work with our API and make it more perfect for you guys so that you can learn a lot of things about API, because API development is not a very simple thing. Okay, it is a very big topic. So let's learn what is actually API. So as you know, if you are understanding and seeing all my tutorial, as you can see, you will understand that when you go to particular URL, it will give us some information. Suppose if I go to /products, it will give us all the information in the products table in the database. If I go to product/id, and this is the dynamic ID, if suppose it is 1, it will give the information of the product ID of 1. If it is 2, it will give the ID of 2. So based on that, it will giving us some information. As you can see, this is dynamic routing. And then we have product/create. If we go to the product/create, which will post some data from the user to the database, we'll also learn that. And then we have some other routes, product/update/on. It will update the particular product by its ID. As you can see, it will update data and it will take an ID, which information or the product you want to update. And then we have product/delete, which product you want to delete from the database with this ID. Very simple. These are all the routes that we're going to work on. So first one is the GET request. It will give us all the information. Then it will give by its ID, okay, each information. Then we're going to post data to the database. Then we're going to update data using the ID, and they're going to use the delete method. So all the CRUD functionality will be working here. And as well as we're going to upload files and images as well, which is really important to understand. Okay, so these are all the steps that you're going to follow. So first you should have a XAMPP, otherwise it will not work. So just open XAMPP, and this is the XAMPP control panel, and here you need to just start Apache and MySQL. So these are the 2 services that you need, MySQL for our database and Apache for our server. Composer, make sure you have Composer. If you didn't install Composer, just to watch my first video of the Laravel series where I showed how to install Composer. Okay, please watch that video, which is very important. And in this video, I'm going to just copy this command to work with our Lumen, because we need to focus on our API. Okay, composer create project dash preferred disk Laravel Lumen products. So we need to create a folder, because I already created a folder called Lumen API for you guys, as you can see. So we're going to open it with code. So as you can see, the Lumen API, this folder is created. Now what I'm going to do, and copy this thing, and composer create project preferred disk Laravel Lumen block. Okay, just copy this line and paste it. And your application name should be products API. Okay, because we were working on the products model, and all the information should be in the database should be based on this product. Is title, description, price, is images, all of those things. Now as you can see, I just copied and pasted all these commands, and the Lumen is installing. Okay, so our Lumen is installed. Then I need to go to that products API folder that we created. So this is the Lumen API, this is the main folder. Then we need to go to the products API that created our API. Okay, we need to cd and we need to go to products and underscore API. And as you can see, we are inside the products API. And if you write ls, you'll see all the files and folders. So clear it out. So this is done. So this is not just a Laravel application, this is just a web services to create API. So if you write PHP artisan serve, suppose, as you can see the command serve is not defined, it will not work. It is not Laravel application, it is just a web services. So you need to do something to work with it. So how can you start our server? So here serving your application. So in the Laravel, in the Lumen documentation, you will find everything single thing in the first page. As you can see in the installation page, and make sure it is 8 version 8.x. okay, and you need to just copy php-s localhost 8000 and it will work. Okay, so I organized it perfectly for you so that you can follow this step, and as you can see now it is working. So as you can see, if we go click on this, and it will give you the Lumen version and the Laravel component version. Okay, so very simple and very easy. But now we're gonna exit out of this because we're not going to use this, okay, in real life. We need to go and add app. We need to go to the bootstrap app.php and uncomment this with Eloquent and with facets. So these are the two things that you're going to do. So just go to our main file folder structure, products API. Then we're going to go to bootstrap, go to app.php. Here we need to uncomment something. Here, these are the two things, app with facets and app with Eloquent. It will help us to work with our database models, files, and with our facets that we import. So everything would be really easy for us to work with our facets and Eloquent. So we need to uncomment that. And we need to uncomment some more information, like if you want to add middleware, you can uncomment this. Suppose I'm uncommenting this. This might be needed for authentication and middleware. And what you need to do, you need to uncomment this thing, the app register, service provider, auth service provider, and event. So these are the things we need to uncomment. This thing, these two things, facets and Eloquent, and the middleware to middleware and the register. Okay, app service provider, auth, event, all of those things. So we need to uncomment that. So we're doing it. And don't worry that I already uploaded a complete structure of this project or the source code in the GitHub. You will find it very simply and easily. I wrote every single thing for you. Then you need to write app register flipbox Lumen generator. So this is the class which is important, Lumen generator service provider class. Okay, we just import that. So you can copy this thing from here. Okay, you can copy this thing, and this is in the bootstrap app.php file. Okay, you can copy flipbox Lumen generator. This is the thing, so you just add it here. So this is the thing that is very, very important. Otherwise, many of the commands they like PHP artisan will not work, okay, if you don't add this. So if you go to the github.com flipbox studio Lumen generator, you need to copy this line of command, composer require flipbox / Lumen generator. So this is the library or the module that we need is to create our Lumen generator for the flipbox. And this is the line that we have added, so we need to install that. So we're going to copy composer require flipbox Lumen generator from our documentation Lumen generator. As you can see, we see that, and also we also added this thing. Okay, so we also added this thing. Now we need to install that so that we can work with our model, migration, middleware, mail services, response, request, all of those things. So this is very, very important. Okay, so just press enter and it will install all the information that you need. Very simple and easy. Just focus on what you need to do. So this is the first hectic stuff that you need to do, but it will take a little bit of time, and just clear it out. It is perfectly done. Now if you write PHP artisan, as you can see, we can work with our models, mail, middleware, migrations, notifications, request, response, all the things that you need. So we can work with our API now. Now if you write PHP artisan serve, as you can see, our development server is working now. Nice, very simple. So get out of the server now. So we'll follow our step. Okay, so we added all of those two things, and now we need to add a database, okay, to the project API. So if to work with our API, we need to add some database. So we need to write PHP myadmin. As you can see, this is the PHP myadmin. Just go into that, and for that you need to just start those Apache and MySQL, okay, from the XAMPP. Here, as you can see, the PHP my admin interface. Here I'm gonna use Lumen, and I'm gonna write YouTube products API database. Okay, so copy the whole line and make sure it is general CI and select it. And our database name is Lumen YouTube products API DB. Okay, so we're gonna go to our project and go to environment variable. Here our host is this one, our port number is 3306 for the MySQL. We need to add our database name, which is Lumen YouTube _ products _ API _ DB. Okay, and make sure the password is null and username is root. Okay, just save this thing. So save this file. This is our environment file where we configure our database. So this is very important. And now clear it out, and we don't need this one as well. Now we need to create our model. So let's follow this step. What we need to do, we need to create our models, controllers, and database migrations, all of those things. So we're going to work with our product model. So okay, to create a model, we need to write PHP artisan make model, and it should be product model, and -m to create a migration file. So our product model is m, and this is the command to work with our product model and to creation of our product model. And also it has also created the migration also. We go to the database, and if we go to migrations, as you can see, create products table, and our table name is products. So we have generated a new products table in our database. So this is just a migration file. We need to add our fields. Now what are the fields we need? Suppose table, and it has a string, and this is the data type, okay, of the model, and it should be title. Product should have a title, and then we have a table of, and suppose this is a text, and it should be description. Okay, and then we need table, and product should have a price, and price should be double. I think double is really good, and it takes 2 parameters. If you go to this laravel.com migration column method, okay, so these are the thing that the data type that we have to work with our migration models. Okay, so we have our double, we have our date format, we have our enum, we have our decimal field. So we can use the decimal field for the price. As you can see, we need to give the property name and the precision and the scale. So we're not going to do that. We're going to copy this for double. Okay, and this is the number of digits, and this is the number of decimal length. Okay, total. So we need to just copy this thing, and this is for double, and this is the amount, and we're going to name it price. The attribute name should be price, and this is the number of digit that you can have, and this is the decimal places. Suppose we have 111.222.8298 suppose, and this is the 0.2 decimal places. Then we're going to work with our, so now we need to add one more field, which is image field. For that we can use a string. Okay, and we're gonna name it as photo file. Okay, so our photo file should be named as photo. So this is the attribute photo, and its type should be string. You can give it any type. So I just recommend using the string for the photo URL or the photo name, because it would be saved in the database. So we have title. I think price should be go above that. Title, price, photo description. Just cut it and paste it. So first what we added, the ID, which would be incremented auto generated. Then we have the title of a string, and then we have a double type of price, and then we're gonna have a string value for the photo that we select from our desktop or smartphone, whatever you like. And then we have our text. You can use long text as well for description. So these are the data type that you need to use. So if you go to the documentation, here you can see all types of fields like foreign ID, float. So all of the thing you can just search it and scroll it, whatever you need. Okay, so these are the fields that you can use. These are the same name then we need to add in our model. So we created our model. If we go to the app, and in the app we have our models, and the models we have a product model. Here we need to write protected fileable. Okay, so here I need to write protected fileable. I'll give the name. Suppose the first name is title, and the second one is price, and the third one is photo, and the last one is the description. Okay, so we have a title, price, photo, and description. and we need to add the semicolon here. So these are the fields in the model. This is actually the main model, class model, as we can see, which is extending the main model. So our protected fillable fields, okay, so based on your migration, these are the fields name that you need to use in the model as well. Our model is done, our migration work is done. Now what you need to do, you just need to migrate it to the database. So we have to write php artisan migrate. As you can see, we migrated our database. So if you search it and refresh it now, and here Lumen YouTube products API database, and as you can see, this is the products table that we have created, and based on it we have our ID first, then title, price, photo, description, created and updated it, and based on the serial title, price, photo, description, it has created it. Okay, so make sure you organize the same way like this way. Now we need to make our controller. Let's follow our tutorial. As you can see, the model migration is done. Now we need to create our controller to work with our application or the API. Okay, so we need to write php artisan make controller, and controller name should be similar to the model. It is based on products, so we need to write, okay, and you can write dash resource, because it will give us some index, create, update, delete, all of this functionality. So that's why I need to write dash resource. So as you can see, our product controller created successfully. Now if we go to the app, and in the HTTP we have to go to controller, and this is the product controller. Okay, this is the product controller. Now I need to just, these are all the functionality that is added, like index, create, store, show, edit, update, and destroy. Laravel has given you a nice structure that will use the CRUD application, or the CRUD works in our API, and for every single project you will have this. So let me click create. So let me delete all of those junk and the comment sections. We need our index function. We don't need our create function because store would be the creation, and we need a show function. We don't need that edit function because update function will do all the work, and the destroy. So these are the 5 methods, 1 2 3 4 5. This is the 5 methods that will work. And here we're going to work with our get method, okay, and get all data from database. Okay, I'm going to post data to database from user. What user write will go to the API using this post method or the store method, and show will give 1 items from products table. Okay, it will give only 1 items, and update will update it, and we're gonna use update method and update by its ID. Okay, and destroy is very simple. It is just a delete method and delete by its ID. URLs. So now we're going to work with our URLs, because URLs is super important, guys. And so where you can find, you need to go to routes, and here you're going to find the URLs. So all the URLs are like that, routers, gate, all of those things you can use from scratch. And you will write user get and give /products. It will give us all the products, and here you need to write in the quotation, you write product controller. Make sure this is a small letter. So this is the same name, should be same name as this name, product controller, because we are going to the product controller and we need to go to its index to get all the products. Okay, and you can copy the same thing multiple times. Okay, and this get is to get only 1 product, so we'll give our dynamic URL of that particular product ID. Suppose product ID of 1, it will give product ID 1 information. It is 2, it will give us the product ID of 2 information, and it will go to show in method, and the show method is here. This will give only 1 item. Okay, so it will go to this controller and this method, and then we have our product /post, and it should be product /create, and its method should be post. Okay, very simple. And this should be store, and this store is this store where you're going to post some data to the database. So we are structuring our code like however you need, and then we need to use our put method, and put method will go to the update slash, and it will update particular product ID. And then we need to use delete method, and it will go to the product slash delete. Okay, and which one it will delete, it will also take some ID. So particular individual ID information, it needs ID. To update we need some ID, for delete we need some ID. We don't need ID to get all the products and to create it. Okay, so to update we need to go to this function, which is update function, and if you want to delete it, you need to go to the destroy function, I think. So this is the function it will go. Okay, very simple. And you can delete this. We need 5 route, 1 2 3 4 5. First 2 is the get, then we have post, and for update we put, and for delete we use delete method. So these are all the main method that we work on. Let's follow our steps. So our routers is done, the routing is completely fine, our controller is done. Now we need to work with our main project. Okay, so this is the stuff that you're going to learn here from very awesomely, very beautifully, and learn it perfectly. Okay, so for index, what you need to do, you need to add a model, because controller works with model and show all the information. So controller must be included model. Without model it cannot parse all the information from the database. So we need to use app, and you need to go to the models, and the models we have a product model, we need to import that, and this is this product model that we imported. Okay, so these are the information that we'll work on now, and the product model will include this model. Okay, first we go to the products, and this is the variable name, and we need to call the product model from the database and get all the information. What you can do, you can paginate it. Okay, you can paginate and get only 2 products, but here I'm not gonna do that. I can also use limit, and limit only 3 or limit only 10. Suppose I want 3 objects from the database, you can use limit, and 10 objects, and you can use 20 objects. Okay, here you can use this different type of abilities, but I'm going to use simple all. It will get all the products, and pass return as a response. And what I'm going to response dot JSON, because this response would be like JSON format, and JSON format, and it will show all the products. So whatever products is coming from the database, it will show us in a nice response as a return response dot JSON, and show us all the products that we get. Very simple and very easy. Make sure you get all the comment and understand what is going on. Okay, so we don't have any data, so this method will not work directly, because as you can see, if we go to the routes, if we hit on this URL, this index method will be triggered and it will give us all the products, but it will not work directly because we don't have any products in the database, so we cannot test it, or we will test it later. Now what you can do, you can copy this thing and you can use here, and you can use here, because this is the same line that we're going to use. Just different is the show will show us only individual product. If we go to product slash ID, it will take us individual products ID from the dynamic URL and show us that information. So it takes some ID, as you can see. So here I'm going to write products.find, find by ID, that is passed in this URL. It will find that product that we want, okay, by based on its ID, and give us its response as JSON, and make sure your variable name is only product here, because it gives only one product object. Okay, as you can see, give one item from the database. So what you write, products find by its ID and show us in the response. Very simple. We can work with our delete as well, and for delete you can copy this thing, paste it, because it will also find a product by its ID, because our route also have an dynamic ID here. So we need, in the function we need to pass that ID, and here we need to pass only product. Okay, and product we can delete. So this is the method that will delete each product. First we get the ID of the product by finding it, and then we just call the delete method to delete it. And here in the JSON response you can write product deleted successfully. So here it will, after the product is deleted, it will give us a response that as a JSON product deleted successfully. And for update also, for show also, okay, it will show us only one, and it will give us every single information, and it will destroy. So let me go there, make it, and this is for show. So we need to work with our store, because store and update is super important, because we need to pass some data to the database. So what we're gonna do, first step is validation. Validate this, validate, and this is the function that will take some validation. Okay, we're gonna validate the request that we're gonna see, and in the request, what we're gonna validate, we're gonna give an array of objects or array of data. This validate, we're gonna validate the request, and which request, the what we passed as a title, you're gonna validate this and make sure it is required. So write it perfectly. And the second line, we need to use title and the price, and it is also required. Okay, and then what is important, title, price, photo, and description. So photo is also required, suppose in this API. You can make it not required as well, but I'm using it. And last we have description. Description also needed required. So all the required field is done, like title, price, photo, description, all of those things should be validated. Then we're gonna use a product. Okay, and product should be new product. It will get a new product for us. Okay, that if you are experienced with Java, you also know that if you understand Laravel, which I recommend you to understand Laravel first to work with the Laravel application, then the API. So it will create a new instance of this product model, and this model is this model. It will create a new product for us. And what you're gonna pass in the product, I'm gonna pass in the product database title, and this title should be in the products. We have a title, price, photo, description. Okay, so in the products title, in the database product title, what you're gonna put, what user type, and this where we need the request. Okay, and request dot input, and here you're gonna write the title, the object name or the attribute name. Request what the user typed in the title, and put that information in the product database title. So this is how the API works, how we put data to the API. And copy this 2 times, and second one for the price, and this should be price as well. The third one is description, and the last one should be description. Okay, so this is very simple. First we get the title from what the user typed the title, and save the title in the product database title attribute, and then we get every single information from in the price field and save this to the product price field, and then we get the description from the user and put this information in the product description. But this is very simple stuff. This is just a text data. This is just a text data, very simple. Now we need to work with our image data, because we need to image upload that as well. So how can we do that, right? So first we need to write if request and request dot has file. Okay, and its name should be photo. Okay, so here we'll write our logic. If user select a photo, and we need to validate it and make sure it is correct pictures, and create a folder images in the public folder. Okay, in the public folder it will create an image folder and post all of our data that we selected. So we need to work with this functionality. So we need to have a file which is a variable, and it will call, and we need to have request, and request have file. Okay, and its name is photo. So we pick the photo here, and we're gonna write allowed file extension. Okay, so allowed file extension should be, we need to write it inside an array. Okay, so it can be PDF. Okay, it can be PDF, it can be PNG, it can be JPG. So all the format. If you want only the image, then you can use PNG and JPG. Okay, so we are working with the file. It can be PDF, it can be PNG, it can be JPG, all of the thing. Now we need to get the photo extension. So extension is equals to file. This is the file that we get the photo image name from our desktop. Okay, so request file photo, that we get that images from our desktop, and we need to get its extension, and our allowed extension is this is the thing. Okay, so we need to get get client original extension, get client original extension. So we need to get the file that we have selected, the photo and its extension, and we are checking if it is PDF, PNG or JPG. Okay, and then we created a variable called check, and we need to check in array. In array takes some parameters. We need to pass extension, and this extension is file's original file extension name, like PDF, PNG or JPG. Okay, and we need to check if it is in the allowed file extension, because allowed file extension are this thing. Okay, these are the three types of file that we explored what we database can take. Okay, we allowed that. If this extension that we are getting is inside this extension, it matched with any of this file type, then we're gonna put this data into the database. Okay, that's why I need to check in array. Okay, now we need to write our main logic. If it is check, okay, if all the logics are check, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a variable called name, and we're gonna concatenate with our time. Okay, so that we don't get duplicate values or the duplicate name of the image file, and it should be, suppose, file, and we need to get client original name, and this will get the actual name of our photo, and this will give us the actual extension, and this one, get client original name, it will give us the name of our file or the image file. Then we need to write file, and we need to call our move, and it should be images. So it will create a new folder in the public directory to store all of our images that we have selected, and pass the name, and these are the name that is concatenated with the time and with our image name, and it will give us a different image name each time, because time is changing all the time, so that we don't get duplicate value, and this name would be stored in our images folder. Okay, we're gonna write product, and in the product, and this is the product model, and in the product model, in the photo attribute, we need to pass the name. So what is doing that, this name would be saved into the database. You can see in the product photo attribute, we need to pass that name, and it will be saved into the database. It's working very perfectly. If we select that particular photo, it will check if it is in the allowed extension, and if it is checked properly, then it will save those images and move this file into the images folder in the public directory, and save that information in the database as well. Okay, and this is then the title, price, description are very simple, and you don't need to do anything. Okay, you just call product, and here you need to write save, and it will save, and then it will return it with the response. It will return response at JSON format, and I'm gonna pass the product. Okay, so everything is done perfectly, and first we add the validation, then we add the image upload technique, and then we upload the text data that user typed, and then we just save it, and later we're going to check it with the Postman. Now we need to work with our update. As you can see, the update and delete is done. Now we need to work with our update also same, we need to validate it first. We can copy this thing in the update. So this is the validation. Then we need to find each product. So this time it will not be new product, because we are not creating any new instance. We need to get the product and find the product by its ID. That's why the update has ID, because we need to find product by its ID, which one we need to update. So this is very, very simple and easy stuff. We can copy this thing. We can copy this thing, and in the update we can paste it. So in the product title, and set the what user typed in the title, and these are all the same to as we did in the create. Okay, very simple, and we just save it and give us a response. Now what difference is that? Here's the difference. It will also copy this thing and copy. The difference is only we are finding it by its ID and updating its information. So these are the only thing that is changing, the only thing that you need to change. Other things are exactly same. You don't need to do any other thing. So update and create almost same. The store will create a new product instance, but update will not gonna do it. Update will update the product that will inside in the database, the current instance. So that is just a simple difference. So we need to check our API, upload some information. So before that, we need to work with our Postman. So just run Postman. So this is the app to check your API, to work with our API and test our API. Very famous and very useful Postman application. You can download it from the Google and just search it and you'll find it. Okay. Now we need to test it. So let me copy the same thing and don't save it and create a new entry, and here you're going to post some data, and this is the products. So if we go to the product/create, it will give us some information and show all the information in the database. If we go to product/create, it will go to the star function and it will help us to get all the information from the user and send it to the database. So we are going to the create function and make sure it is post, and here to pass some data. So we need to go to the headers, body, and use the form data, or you can use this one, but I'm going to use the title, and here I'm going to use the price segment, here I'm going to use the photo, and here I'm going to use the description. So in the title I'm going to pass iPhone 10, I'm going to use $588.88, and the photo I'm going to select a file and select a file, this file. Okay, in the description there should be a text as well. This is a dummy description, so send it. As you can see, iPhone 10, this is the price, dummy description, this is the photo URL. Okay, as you can see, it's concatenated with the time and with the photo image and its extension. So all of the thing is working perfectly, just we liked. So this is the title, price, photo description, or all the fields that we added here. If we go to the products category or the products table, we have ID, title, price, photo, description, all the thing, and all the information is added into the database from the API. So our API is working perfectly. Now just check the get URL, and if we go to the /products and hit send, okay, it gives us the information. And if we go to our app, as you can see, if we go to the /product, it will it will go to the index and give us all the products. Okay, and then we need to check our ID, and let's go and let's check our ID. And if we go to the ID of 2, it will give us this information. If I go to the ID of 1, it will not give us anything because there is nothing in it. So it is working perfectly. So our get post is working. Now we need to work with our put, and we need to update it, suppose. So we need to update that thing /update /2, and this update is actually this update. If we go to the routes, update/id, so we need to update it, and okay, if we name it updated. Okay, the title field is required, price, photo, all of the thing is required. So where is the quick fix that I know, which is you need to change this route. Method name should be post here, because the update also sending some information to the database. If you go to the controller and if we go to update, as you can see, it is also sending information directly into the database. So we need to change that URL to instead of put, you just change it to post as well, and I think this will work. And if we go out of the server and run it, and here you just save it and make sure it is post, and this should be updated information. As you can see, the information is updated. If we change the price, suppose 588, suppose here I'm going to write 888, and time description 1, everything is working. There's no problem at all. The image is also working fine. So these are the simple steps how we work with our API. Okay, so very simple, very easy work, no hectic job. You can do it very simply, very easily without any problem. So this is the how we work with the Lumen API. But I didn't add any pagination or any functionality or the search API. What you can do, you can search and create it by yourself, and you create a new route. You're going to create a new function called search and add your search functionality. But this is for the another video. I'm going to work with this and also the pagination, as also how can work with multiple tables. I'm going to add all those functionality in the next part of this video, because one part is not enough to make you understand every single thing. Okay, this is just a hectic job. So we need to just delete everything, make it clean, and we just have to test our destroy, because it will be very, very important. Now I want to delete the entry number 2. How can we delete that? We need to go to the product/delete and give it entry number of 2, or you can delete the entry number of 3 suppose, and make sure it's a delete. As you can see, product deleted successfully. And if we go to there, as you can see, this is the response we get: product deleted successfully after it is deleted. And this is the URL we got to delete this. As you can see, this is the URL we got to delete this. So everything is working, CRUD is working very fine. So this is the end of this part 1, where you can show every single thing, how you can create, read, update, delete using the Laravel Lumen based web framework or the Lumen web services. You just created an amazing looking REST API. So thanks for watching. I'll be coming with the next video with more awesome and beautiful content in the near future.